Wednesday night and what he's kind of looking for this team and how they're going to respond against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Tommy, you're 1-3 right now in conference play. You really don't want to get in the 1-4 hole. You're kind of in the same situation that Kentucky finds themselves in. They have a brutal away game this weekend in Knoxville, Tennessee, where the number 4 Vols are licking their chops, ready to smack them around a little bit. Not exactly in the same situation, but still a road game where you have not been good this year.
Well, if you just look at the overall numbers, and I think right now you're playing for maybe 3 or 4 at best in this league, you've used your card up that you can kind of let one at home get away from you. Now you got to go steal one on the road. I think you'd like to win these next 4, playing Vanderbilt Saturday. I think a road trip to Missouri is not going to be easy. Then you're home for Ole Miss, which appears to be one of the bottom teams in the league. I think it's LSU after that. Feels like you need to win 4 in a row, but that seems like a giant ask for this team right now.
Yeah, I think that's something that you just do it one at a time. I remember when I was actually talking with a former player earlier this week that was on that team 2 years ago. They were 2-4. We forget they got racked by LSU and Alabama in the same week, and then they had that hard practice that we talked about, and then they came back and I think won 12 or 13 straight. This team last year was in a 1-3 hole and then got out of it. So I guess at least there's prior precedent, but then Musk kept hammering home the point this is more of an uphill battle than we've had the last 2 years. This is not the same team. They're offensively challenged. I just don't know how you score when the paint is so congested. The whole idea of being able to back cut and go back door and cut is the illusion that you can shoot and that they have to be aware of you on the perimeter. Tommy, no one on the perimeter can shoot right now. So there's no reason for teams not to just sit in the lane the whole time. That's going to make it so much more difficult to score in conference games.
It's why you got to win this game and all your games moving forward with defense right now. If you can't score, how do you win? Well, you keep the other team from scoring. So if Arkansas is not going to be able to shoot from outside, you don't have a player you can turn to be the go-to player. There'll be streaks. There'll be games where they make, 8 of 18 or something from 3. I mean, but it won't be consistent. It's going to be the problem. They'll have nights where they fill it up. But so what do? You got to win games 58-57. You got to find ways to, because Arkansas is not going to be a team that can score in the 70s very often against most teams, against the better teams in this league. If you want to beat the teams that appear to be in the hunt for that first day bye still at the SEC tournament. So I think you got to tighten up your defense and you got to tighten up free throw shooting. How do you get points on the board? Well, you probably are going to have to find a way to get to the line and improve that average into the mid to upper 20s. You've been around that number. And one thing I think you can improve on as the year goes on, Ty, is free throw shooting. So figure out how to get 20 points at the line, maybe 40 points from the floor, and give yourself a chance to win with defense.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head. You got to hit some free throws. You're second to last in the league right now in that. You're last in the league right now in three-point shooting. And you said it yesterday. No one expects right now this team to make a 1 or 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, but there are seeds right now that are attainable. 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. Just depends on where you fall. The good thing is the Southeastern Conference right now looks good based on where they played non-conference teams. Now you have some teams that didn't play a lick of a schedule this past season, or this past offseason, but you do have some teams that competed and competed tough. Alabama being one of those. You would have loved to have that win. You didn't get it, so you got to move on from that. And you still got some marquee, especially road games coming up on your schedule. You've got to build some momentum so when you do step foot in a Thompson-Boling Arena or you do step foot in the Coleman Coliseum, you don't get waxed by 20 or 30 and they're just coming back to the table and saying, what do we do to fix this?
Yeah, so I mean it's going to be an uphill battle, but I think you can tighten your defense up a little bit. You can. Do you believe you can improve free throw shooting during the year? I do. So I think those are some areas you can control. I don't think you can create a shooter or someone just that's going to give you 25 consistently. I don't think you can fix that in practice. But maybe between Council and Anthony Black and someone off the bench that night, you know they can give you 30-something or around 30 combined, and then everybody else combined for 10. If you can get 20 at the line, you be around 60 and try to win games ugly. I think that's what you're going to have to do is reconfigure the formula.
We played a kid in the high school playoffs back when I was in school from Morrilton. He was a lefty, and he hit 6 threes on us in the state playoffs. And Coach asked him, it's like, what was his deal? And he goes, yeah, he shot 500 threes this morning. And we were like, Good grief. And I tend to agree with you on the 3-pointers compared to free throws. I think these guys can shoot. They just don't have any confidence right now. I'm not saying they're Rodney Clark, Pat Bradley, Al Dillard, Marvin Dell for any of the greats you've had. But shooting sometimes is just about confidence. And free throws is more about practice. Shooting is about confidence. Free throws, they got to get in the gym, man. I mean, this is abysmal. This is pathetic. If your strength is supposed to be getting to the cup, getting to the rack, and drawing contact, you have to execute the second half of what you're trying to do. And that's when you get to line, you got to hit them. I mean, 65% is not going to get it done against a top 5 team in the country. It's just not. So you have to, again, if you're going to put all that work and effort of getting to the paint, Tommy, you have to finish on the other end. It's like a defensive possession when you do everything right except let the other team get an offensive rebound. Like you close out high hands and everything, but you have to finish the play, finish the possession. They're not finishing the possession on offense right now.
No, and right now the ball gets stuck, or they made a few bad passes. They don't get it in the right spot, and then they settle for a shot with 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 on the shot clock. That is not what you want. So I don't know how you get more flow to that offense, but that's one thing that I'm sure they're working on, getting ready for tomorrow's game in Nashville. We're brought to you by our friends at Modular Orange. We've also told you they're Matchstick Studios. It's one and the same. I had someone tell me the other day that, man, that deal sounds too good to be true. $95 a month for a website for my business. And this particular friend of mine, their website was kind of antiquated and outdated, needed a makeover. I said, yeah, it's $95 a month, and they do everything. So we've got them set up to talk to Jordan. They're going to get a great-looking website with everything they need. They need a scheduling feature where customers can come on and schedule appointments. They can take care of those custom features, no problem. 479-755-3043. Everything you need to keep your website going is $95 a month. It's a 2-year commitment, and we go from there. And I think you're going to love the product you get. It's Matchstick Studios, 479-755-3043 or modularorange.com.
All right, we'll talk more on the Morning Rush coming up next.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. ClosetBox's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. ClosetBox's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. ClosetBox has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work. No finding a sitter. No sitting in a waiting room. No wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pick up and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. JodysAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey and Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today to schedule your consultation. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Some of my fondest childhood memories are from volunteering with my grandmother. Helping others was her passion. She'd always say, the sweetest fruits of life come from serving others. And she was right.
At Shelter Insurance, we strive to make a positive impact in the communities where we work and live.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Tommy, and I had a complete brain lock.
Down the lane, blocked by Graham. Ford out of there with it, ahead to Pinion, and there's a one-hand jam. Showtime for the Morrilton freshman.
Watch the Morning Rush on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Just search Hit That Line.
All right, back here on the Morning Rush. Interesting news yesterday in kind of the NFL college world where Kevin Warren is moving on as the Big Ten commissioner to take over as the president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. And you say, Ty, what do we care about the Big Ten? Well, they just got that huge rights deal, $1.2 billion from CBS, Fox, and NBC. And I wonder how that's going to affect the SEC with such a huge, really competitor position open. We'll talk that coming up in just a sec.
All these NFL games you mentioned in the last segment coming up this weekend. It'll be a great sports watching weekend. You need some great eats to go along with that. That's where Sassy's can come in. You can do both at once. They got TVs everywhere at both Sassy's locations here in Fayetteville. So whether it's the original Red House on North College or Sassy's Barbecue and Grill off the Weddington exit on Steamboat, you can stop in and watch some of the football this weekend. Watch the Hogs on the road as they take on Vanderbilt on Saturday. Delicious barbecue. They got great burgers, catfish, and more, all at Sassy's. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does it better than Sassy. So eat, drink, and be sassy.
Tommy, what did you think about that move yesterday? I almost thought it was a down. I know his family's in the greater Chicago area. I initially just heard that, and I was like, is that not like a downward move?
I'd agree with you. The calculus doesn't really pan out for me because I'm with you. I don't think being the president of the Bears is a better deal than being the commissioner of the Big Ten. You would think that the only way you make a move like this is somehow you'd fallen out of grace with the university chancellors and presidents, but like you said, he just navigated a massive television deal and a conference expansion, bringing in USC and UCLA. So makes you wonder who fell out of love with who. I guess you got to take it at face value, and he'd kind of fallen out of love with the job of being commissioner of the Big Ten for whatever reason.
Is he just a big Vince McMahon 85 Bears fan, Tommy? Does he just love Chicago and Soldier Field?
I don't think it's that. I think there's more to the story we don't know. There's something that's happened we're not aware of that maybe comes out at some point, because nothing about it makes sense, because there's nothing you point to in the job performance, at least from the outside looking in, that says, hey, the guy wasn't doing very good. If they were behind on their TV network, or if they were behind on basic groundwork to be competitive with the SEC, and let's be honest, that's the measuring stick now, then maybe you understand it a little better. They had two teams in the college football playoff. I know they didn't win either semifinal, but they were there. So the things you'd measure externally on a commissioner seem to be in line. So I think there's something on a personal level that we just don't know about that hasn't come to light yet.
I would probably agree with that. When I initially saw that, I was like, there's got to be more than this than has been initially been led on. Here's how we tie this back into us down here in the South. How does Greg Sankey and the SEC take advantage of a conference right now that at least doesn't appear to have a strong leader in place? How does the SEC? And my thought process was, like, do they really try and capitalize in talks with Notre Dame? Like, how would you go about doing this if you're Greg Sankey with your biggest competitor not having a leader right now in place?
Oh, I think the lane I would play is taking more of a command role, and I think the SEC has one already in legislation or rulemaking concerning the transfer portal, NIL, those kind of things that need adjustments moving forward. Having a stronger in this interim period that the Big Ten finds itself in. I don't think because they have an interim situation pending here that now's when you strike and try to expand your league or anything of that nature. I don't think it's to that. But I think the opportunity right now is maybe to be the stronger voice, and it may have already been, in any kind of landscape with rulemaking type change that I think everybody agrees needs to happen right now with the transfer portal, early signing period, NIL, these things that need some tweaking. Maybe get your way a little bit more now that the Big Ten's not at the table in quite the same capacity.
Chicago Bears have the number 1 pick in the draft, too, which is appealing to anyone in management in the National Football League. They got Justin Fields. Based on what you've seen, is there a quarterback or a player in college that you'd select number 1 overall? Would you push for Bryce Young even with Fields on that team?
I think if I'm the president, and maybe my first move might be to get on the phone, since you don't need a quarterback necessarily, and see what I could trade for. Mm-hmm. Maybe see if I can get an extra first-round pick or two. I think that'd be the first thing I'd think is, what could I get for this, rather than how can I use it.
I think everyone remembers how much the Dallas Cowboys benefited when they traded Herschel Walker and got what ended up being, help me on this, Tommy, did it end up being Emmitt Smith, Irvin, and Aikman from those draft picks?
Well, it's all part of that era there, and I don't remember exactly all the details of the trade, but it was like 8 players or 8 draft picks. Wasn't playing a bunch of other stuff. So I mean, it was the first big deal and the first big risk, honestly, that Jerry Jones took, and it didn't make him very popular, but it obviously laid the groundwork for that Super Bowl run that was just around the corner.
The old Philadelphia 76ers tagline for a while was trust the process, and I think if you're the Chicago Bears, I'm doing exactly what you just laid out. See how much and you can get in return for this number 1 pick, because it's going to be sought after this upcoming NFL draft, and I think there's a lot more that you can gain and benefit from trading that pick than selecting the number 1 because you have to nail it, and it's so difficult in the NBA, in the NFL, and the MLB to know who that guy to not only be the staple of your franchise, but the guy that continuously can produce and be a good person on and off the field. So I would do exactly what you just said and trade those picks.
Being a team president in the NFL, you're one of 32. Being a commissioner of a Power 5 conference, you're one of 5. But let's be honest, you're one of about 2. You're either the Big Ten commissioner or you're the SEC commissioner. Those are kind of the kings of the mountain. I mean, depending on your perspective, which one's the better job? There's, to me, in my mind, more to this story. We'll get back to it. I want to hear what Chuck thinks about it. He's going to join us. We're brought to you by World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is their number. It's a free weekend coming up. Free installation with Dish, a 3-year price guarantee, voice-activated remotes, whole home DVR. Plans start at $79.99 a month this weekend with World of Wireless. If you got an offer in the mail, you got something you think is a better deal, take it to World of Wireless. They can meet or beat any deal you might have received, whether it's an email or something, a flyer that you got in your post office box or whatever. 877-305-DISH, be installed this weekend. 3-year price lock with World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH.
Get Chuck's thought on this whole Kevin Warren thing, some basketball, and some SEC other basketball we've got looking forward to this weekend.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. That's it for today. Bud Light. Crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. It's a new year. Why not put a new to you vehicle in your driveway? Road Chevrolet wants to buy your vehicle today, and that means you can get out of your old ride and into a great car, truck, or SUV from Road Chevrolet. In fact, trucks starting at only $14,482. Yeah, trucks starting at $14,482. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You know, when I think about Wade, he was not a scorer, but he knew what it took to score, if that makes sense. Tony was that way. And I think that what this team, I won't say it lacks, but what you hope it gains as we go along is that what those other four guys are doing, that's just as important as what the guy with the basketball is doing.
I think you saw some better flashes of this offense on Wednesday night against Alabama, but then Brady Miller and Noah Clowney just started hitting some threes, and that 13-0 run killed you down the stretch. We'll react to that game with Chuck and preview the Vanderbilt game, Tommy, coming up here on Fast Break Friday.
Yeah, it's all brought to you by QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. If your back hurts, your shoulder hurts, maybe you couldn't sleep on your left or right side last night because of joint pain. I used to be that way in my left shoulder. QC Kinetics has fixed me up. They've got a great treatment program that doesn't involve any surgery, no prescription drugs or drugs of any kind, and no downtime. In fact, everything they use to heal your body comes from your body. It's all natural. And they have appointments available next week. Here's the number you should call, 479-999-1234. Make 23 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. That's 479-999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
Good morning, Chuck.
Guys, how's it going this morning?
Man, it's Friday. We got NFL playoffs starting up. We got another Arkansas basketball game. Got some other news.
Got a lot going on.
A lot going on, man.
Yeah.
So let's jump back in Wednesday night. I'm going to be honest, man. I thought Bud Wallen and company were going to do it. And Graham hits that hook shot over Bediako, 2-point game. And then their first-round picks just kind of took over.
Boy, they sure did, didn't they? I mean, they really did. Both of them, good players like that, great players like that, you give them an inch, and that's plenty. And that's kind of what happened with those three shots, the one that Clowney hit and the two that Miller hit. I mean, they were pure. They were big-time shots. And, I may be wrong on this. I just kind of watching the game at the end, I thought Arkansas defensively looked tired at the end, maybe just I won't even say a half step slow, maybe a quarter step slow. And, Muss talked about how they defended the dribble handoff in a way that maybe they hadn't during the rest of the game. They didn't do it the right way at the end, and I wondered when he was saying that, did fatigue have something to do with that? They're at the end of the game, but Alabama had them outmanned. I mean, I did think 2 or 3 times during the game. I thought, man, what if Brazil and Smith were here? I mean, it's a pretty good game right now, but what if they were here? I mean, you could have one of those classics, but course, they weren't, and it turned out the way it did. But Alabama's really good. I mean, they could end up in the Final Four.
I know Devo didn't have his best offensive game, but Chuck, he shut down Miller. He didn't get a sniff of the basket in the first half, and that's a lottery pick, and he's given up 6 inches on him.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job. You know, he got some help. I mean, you always get some help, but yeah, he did a great job on Miller. And I mean, you know, as we've discussed before, they take a lot of pride in maybe not necessarily shutting down, but keeping the other team's best player well below their average. And you know, Miller still finished below his average, but man, those 14 in the second half, every single one of them seemed big.
Yeah. Seems to me, and we were talking earlier, what do you do moving forward? You know, must seem to, I don't know if dejected's the right word. Defeated wouldn't be the right word, but man, I think everybody's looking for a shooter, looking for offense. What do you do there? I think you got to win these games moving forward. Maybe just win them ugly, win them with defense. Try to beat people 58-57. Free throws and good defense, I think, is got to be key to the recipe because I don't think you're just going to invent a shooter.
No, I think you've got to do everything else well. And that's not a guarantee when you do everything else well. But that's that's the only shot that you've got. I thought he was frustrated. I just thought he was frustrated after the game. He's got a couple of really big bullets. I mean, a couple of silver ones that, you know, he was counting on being part of, being part of the rotation. I mean, he was counting on Brazile and Smith carrying a lot of the load, just to be frank about it. And you know, now they're not there, and he's got a couple of parts that he doesn't have that's not of his doing, and I'm sure that frustrates him. I mean, how could it not?
And it's all out of his control. That's the other thing he doesn't like
That's
at all.
my point.
Yeah,
when I say it's out of his –
when they return, if they return, all that stuff.
Right, and well, we know Brazil's not coming back, and that's the frustrating part. And, you know, he said after the game it's going to be a much more difficult climb this year than it's been the last 2 years. And I'll be honest with you, I've thought that for a couple of weeks now, and I think it's becoming pretty obvious because, you know, this is not Justin Smith missing 5 games. This is not Moses Moody missing a couple of 3 weeks. I mean, you know, Brazil's not coming back, and it's beginning to sound like, you know, we've said this before, I hate to even say it, it's beginning to sound like Smith may be back at some point, but you know, right now, this is what they got, and you're right. I mean, you got to do everything well because you can't just wave a magic wand and become a great shooting team.
So you bring up Nick Smith. We need to make a point of clarification right now. Nick Smith's dad did not call in yesterday. A supposed friend of Nick Smith's dad calling to KABC. There's a big difference on that. That was told, allegedly, by Nick Smith's dad that Nick is going to play at Arkansas. Because I've seen thousands of tweets about this, and we need to make that point right now that Nick Smith's dad did not call in yesterday and say that. Needs to be clear about that.
Every guy I know from Little Rock's best friends with Nick Smith Sr. right now.
Man.
Now, my understanding is
guy's name was Zippy, Chuck. That's what he went by, Zippy.
Well, what I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he had the friend was on the radio, and the father texted some kind of confirmation from what that's what I've been told. And look, you hear something new every day on this. And as I've said before, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but as I've said before, when he's out there, I'll be happy, and I'll believe it when I see it.
And with all due respect, I might rather have a text from Rich Paul and Clutch than I would Nick Smith Sr., honestly,
Zippy.
at this point.
You're not taking Zippy out his word, Tommy.
Yeah, I might want Rich Paul's confirmation on the text as much as I want the family's.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, that's a weird deal. Chuck, you were kind of referencing it on the Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast yesterday, and you just did now. I mean, it was one of the things with Isaiah 3 years ago, I think 5 games. Justin, a couple years ago, he came back for the Alabama game, but still wasn't 100% right. Last year, he dealt with some stuff, but help me on this. I don't remember a season-ending injury the last 3 years, unless I'm just forgetting one.
Well, certainly not to a player of Brazil's status.
Yeah, and this is just a completely different deal that we're dealing with. So my question would be, and you miss them both, which one are they missing more? Are they missing what was supposedly going to be their best player, or are they missing the most versatile player in Trevin Brazile?
Well, I mean, they miss them both. I mean, I don't know what to say on that. I've heard people say, well, miss this guy more. The reality is it doesn't matter. I mean, they're both, neither one of them's there. There are situations where you miss Smith more. There are situations where you miss Brazil more. There are situations where you miss them both equally. But, who you miss most, I mean, I'm not sure about that. If you had one of them back, it'd help.
Well, I don't have the season stats, the compiled stats. I don't know how many minutes Nick Smith even has compiled for the year if you just looked at that. So, I mean, when you say miss somebody, Nick Smith's total minutes is, if it's 100
Yeah, I mean,
minutes,
I don't know
I'd
that
be
you
surprised.
can miss what you really haven't had.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So you're talking about Musk getting frustrated, and he should be. Here's my question. We're talking about cutting and back cuts and stuff. How are you supposed to score in the – and I know they did at times against Alabama, but the whole idea of a back cut or a cut is because the defender is getting up on you on the three-point line because they respect your three-point shot. We're going to see the rest of the year in zone, and guys are just going to sit in the lane, sag off the ball. The paint is going to be so congested from here on out. I don't know how this team's not going to be able to score unless they actually start, at least are capable of hitting a couple three-point shots a game. Not 2, but like 5.
Well, I mean, you may be right. We'll see. Alabama didn't play zone, not a second. So, I mean, they'll face some, and they'll face man, and you can cut to the basket without being out at the three-point line. You don't have to be out at the three-point line to cut to the basket. So, I mean, they'll, I think everybody's looking for a magic wand solution, and I'm just not sure that it's there, to be real honest with you, in terms of, again, this is going to become a team that, scares the other team to death in terms of their ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter. I don't think it's going to be that type team. So, but I mean, you can still score without being a great three-point shooting team. You can still put points on the board.
I mean, to me, the formula is you got to get Council and Black, and then maybe it's like a Jalen Graham off the bench the other night, or I know Council came off the bench as well. You got to get a third player to combine those 3 guys for 30-some-odd. I think you got to get 20 points as a team at the free throw line. And don't worry about the percentage. You just need 20 at the line, and then you get 10 from everyone else. And if you get 60, you hope your defense is good enough that night. Because I think 60, low 60 is about the best you can hope for moving forward on most nights. Not every night, but most nights.
Well, I think if you're going to improve your scoring, I don't think it has as much to do with perimeter shooting or even cutting in the half court. I think the biggest thing with this team right now is you got to force some turnovers and get out in transition. You got to let this athleticism work for you, because that's what you've got right now. You don't have the pure guy from the perimeter like you had before, 2 of them that could score from the perimeter. They got to score off turnovers. They got to steal the ball. If you want to push your scoring from 60 to 70 and you're not a very good shooting team, you better force some turnovers and you better score at the other end. And when you look at this team right now, they're very solid defensively. Very solid defensively. In fact, I'd make the case that they played well enough defensively to win all of the conference games they've played so far. But the one thing that I do see that you'd like to see more of are turnovers and transition points. The points off turnovers haven't been good, and first thing you got to do is protect it yourself. But I think they're going to have to flip them over some on the defensive end and score some points off of it.
I was talking to a former player this week, and he suggested speeding up the game. Do you think they should? We saw it more with when Trevin and Nick were actually playing, and it's a little harder now because you don't have as many bodies, but I mean, should they press? Should they half-court press? So you're talking about forcing turnovers, and I know sometimes that gets you beat on the back end, and I know that's not necessarily Eric Musselman's MO, but if you're trying to get it more up and down into a fast-paced game, force the team, so will we see more of that in the coming weeks?
Well, when they miss shots, yeah. I think you'd like to get out in transition when they miss shots, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. I mean, the other teams, it's not like the teams they're playing are shooting a blistering field goal percentage. I mean, there's not. So, when you talk about getting out in transition, I mean, you've got to do it off the missed shot. But I think the biggest thing is, Arkansas is big out on the perimeter. Black's a big defender. Devo's got a wingspan that, is beyond your average 6'4" guy. Walsh, I mean, look at Walsh. I mean, you got to force some turnovers out there away from the basket. That's how you get in transition. I mean, speeding up the pace. I mean, I hear you, but you can't just say, all right, we're going to go fast. You may want to go fast, but you got to do the stuff that allows you to do that. So I mean, I just think that defensively, again, I think they're pretty solid, but you got to be able to force some turnovers.
Well, I think the half court's really solid. What I'm asking is, do they need to start kind of pressing or half court press? Because we saw that a little bit when Trevin was playing.
Arkansas press?
Talking about Arkansas.
No.
Well, I mean, you got to make shots to press.
I mean, when you're shooting 35%, I mean, what are you going to press on?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to press them on a baseline out of bounds from a timeout? I mean, when you're shooting 35%, you don't, and you're not as good as you need to be from the free throw line. I mean, lots of times you see, if it's a full court press team, they're going to press off a made free throw. And, when you look at what's going on right there and you're not making free throws and you're shooting 35%, you don't have a chance to get into the press.
Yeah. That's why I keep coming back to free. I mean, I don't think you can just get in the gym and improve shooting tremendously and consistently, but I do think free throw shooting is an area that maybe you can get better as the season
well, you
goes
should.
along.
You should.
You can spend time on that, and it doesn't make your legs, exhausted for the next game. I think that's an area that you can see some consistent improvement in.
But I don't think you're ever to answer your question, Ty. I don't. When you're going 7 or 8 deep, no, you're not gonna. I mean, there may be some times when you do, and they do. There may be some times when you trap when they get to midcourt, and they do. But if you're asking, do you start forcing the tempo with a press off a made free throw or a made basket? Well, maybe every once in a while, but I don't think that's the MO. No.
What they do is, like, when the best player, if he starts hitting some shots, I mean, you see Must do this. They leave the bum, like the guy that can't shoot or gets scared or timid, and he just sends Jordan, whoever's guarding him, and they say, just go double team the other guy. And the other guy usually makes a mistake, dribbles off his leg, misses a shot or whatever. They do that when the one guy starts getting hot, but that's kind of like you're talking about. It's just on various occasions.
Hey, if you're a seller of a home or a buyer of a home, it's nice to have somebody on your side that really knows what they're doing. We all think we understand it. I do. Everybody kind of does. But the truth is you need a pro when you get into the real estate game. And, when you're selling a home or buying a home, you're in the real estate game. That's why I like Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, and that's why I recommend them, and it's why I think you'll like them too. My experience was as a seller first and then as a buyer. And what I found was that, they did know the market. They did understand all the things that I was going to be faced with and all the things that were going on. And when you're well-trained and you understand what's going on, that makes you a better negotiator. And that benefits you, whether you're a buyer or a seller. And that's what they do at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Now, they've got a location in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale. They're in Bentonville, Fort Smith. They've recently opened an office in Branson, Missouri. You're going to see their yellow signs all over town, and you can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Dallas Cowboys taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend, Monday Night Football. I got 5 other games to look forward to. Guys, that's going to be one that our audience pays attention to the most. Kansas City Chiefs will not be playing this weekend as they get that first-round bye. I was talking with Tommy about this before the show, Chuck. He's not too confident. Not a lot of Cowboy fans are confident going against Tom Brady. 7-0 against Dallas all time.
Well, I'm not terribly confident, but frankly, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they're playing Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady's, he'll have his moments, but he's on the downhill slide. He's not as good this year as he was last year, and wasn't as good last year as the year before. So it's not Brady. I just don't think the Cowboys are all that great. I mean, I just don't think they're all that great. I just am afraid that there are going to be problems in terms of turnovers with Tampa Bay's defense, and hey, I'm pulling for them. I'll be glad to say on Monday morning, how about them Cowboys? But
yeah.
I think it's going to be I think they'll be, that'll be a good win if they win. I'll put it that way.
And I think the winner of this game either way's got one more game. I don't think the winner either team's going very far. So whether it's the Bucs or the Cowboys, I think their future in the playoffs, I surmise, or my theory is that maybe one more game and they'll probably lose.
I think you're right.
There's such a stark difference between the quarterbacks in the NFC compared to the quarterbacks in the AFC. I mean, you could argue that 4 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL are all playing on the AFC rather than the NFC. Is that changed the dynamic of how these playoff games are at least viewed, and the fact that so many more of the popular quarterbacks are on the other side than on the NFC?
Well, sure it does. I mean, and that's there's reason for that. I mean, you look at the guys in the AFC. I mean, you've got, as you say, you've got the most of the elite guys in the game right now, and that's why I suspect, unless San Francisco just stays on a roll, I suspect the Super Bowl champion's going to come out of the AFC.
Bills, how do they approach the playoffs with Damar Hamlin and the emotional side without getting overcharged? We've talked about this heading into games, playing an old team or whatever. I mean, that was an event that is seldom, if ever, seen on a football field. How do you think McDermott and company are approaching not only the game this weekend, but the rest of the way with just that whole emotional charge that they're going to be playing with heading into this weekend?
I think that has something. I think that's something fans pay attention to. I don't think in the locker room you call upon that. These are professional football players. These games are not going to be decided as tragic as that situation was. And I'm not making, I'm not minimizing it in any way, but I don't think it's going to have any effect on what happens in the playoffs.
Tommy, you got your.
I bet it's more business as usual.
Absolutely.
Behind the scenes, what they say publicly is one thing. I bet. Yeah, we'd like to have this feeling that Damar Hamlin sit at the center of the conversation in every team meeting and every position room meeting, but I think it's probably been a lot more business as usual behind the 4 walls than we'd like to recognize or understand.
This is a good football team. They don't need to run on emotion. And again, right. I think sometimes we run on emotion about things like this more than players and coaches do. To them, it's real life. I mean, they know the guy. It's about making visits to the hospital. It's about going to see their family. I mean, it's a much more personal thing to them. And I don't believe that, they're going to be necessarily emotionally driven by that out on the field.
So outside the Cowboys, what do you think the biggest playoff story? You referenced the San Francisco 49ers. I think a rookie and Brock Purdy, that's a huge storyline if San Fran can get to the Super Bowl or win it. The Bills getting over that hump, beating Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, that's another big one. Guys, what's the one that you're keeping an eye on heading into this weekend, the coming weeks?
Well, the media is going to make the Hamlin story the big thing. I mean, there's no doubt, and I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying that's what's going to happen. And that's going to be the overriding storyline. Philadelphia was the best team week in and week out in the NFC, but I think San Francisco is the best team right now. If Buffalo and Kansas City end up playing, I guess they're going to play in Atlanta. Is that what I read?
Correct.
If they, if those are the two teams on that fast track down there, man, that'll be one to watch.
Winner plays Georgia, Tommy, and the Dogs are a 3-point favorite on the Bet Saracen app.
I don't know. That'd be a pick'em game, seems like, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's something. Chuck, what you just said is the most intriguing thing to me. If the Bills make it to the AFC Championship and the Chiefs make it to the AFC Championship, I don't know if there's precedent on this before. I don't know if we've ever had a neutral side AFC or NFC championship.
Well, not in my lifetime. So I mean, I mean, we can talk about precedent. I mean, ultimately they'll play the game on the field, and my point is it's a fast track. It's an indoor stadium. It's a fast track. The elements aren't going to be a factor at all. You've got 2 great quarterbacks. You got teams that can move that football up and down the field in a hurry. And I think it'll be that kind of game. If those are the two teams playing, as I say, sit back because it's going to be fun to watch.
And you know who likes the fact that it's Atlanta more than anybody? The kickers for both teams. Because if it
you're
comes
right
down
about
to a
that.
kick,
You might have a
they're in a
65-yarder.
Yeah, they love the fact that they're going to be kicking in a dome perhaps for a trip to the Super Bowl.
Let me tell you, in a game like that, they're going to be kicking extra points. I don't think they're going to be kicking a lot of field goals.
Old Harrison Butker and Tyler Bass, they're sending their check to the NFL based on that. I'm with you. That game, I don't know what it's going to be over-under on that one, Chuck, but it's going to be like 70 or 80.
That game's about touchdowns.
It's going to be back and forth, back and forth. That will be one of the highest-rated NFL games.
But they're not there.
Yeah.
We can sit here and talk about how great it's going to be. They're not there.
Good point. Hard to defeat that.
Hey, do you need a job? APAC Arcola's got one for you, whether you're in North Central Arkansas or Northwest Arkansas, Boone, Marion, Baxter County, over around the Mountain Home and Harrison, Flippin areas. They've also got jobs in Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville area as well. They need people that have construction experience, heavy equipment operators. You've worked in a quarry. You're a licensed CDL driver, concrete finisher. They know they've got great jobs at a great company, and they know there's great people listening this morning that are looking for a great situation. Apply online at jobs.crh.com. That's jobs.crh.com. Top pay, sign-on bonus, insurance, great benefits. Jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
Hour 2 coming up.
For more than 4 decades, Burton Pools and Spas has been your source for backyard fun. In that time, Burton's has built over 12,000 pools and installed more than 8,000 hot tubs. That makes the Burton family more than 20,000 members strong. See your options, our story, and customer reviews at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. We do more than build pools and install hot tubs. At Burton's, we build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas. Springdale and Fort Smith, your source for backyard fun.
Looking for a better rate of return on your savings? Arvest Bank is ready to help with great rates on certificates of deposit. For a very limited time, you can earn 3.03% APY on a 7-month CD or 3.55% APY on a 14-month CD with a minimum deposit of $10,000. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Hurry into Arvest before this deal is gone. Annual percentage yield available for a limited time only. Other rates and terms are available. Member FDIC.
I am not who you say I am.
I'm a pastor.
I am a caregiver.
I am a father.
I am a friend.
I'm a doctor.
Chances are someone you know and love is struggling with substance use disorder, but recovery is possible. Help starts when we stop stigma, view each other with compassion, and reach out for help. Call 1-800-622-HELP to get started. This message sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and supported by grant number 2018-AR-BX-KO85 awarded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
The Mega Millions jackpot from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is now more than $1 billion. So, what would you do if you won?
I'll be buying 3 boats. One for fishing on the lakes, one for fishing on the rivers, and one to take the family out.
I would buy us the best seats for every show on Broadway.
Got your ticket? If not, visit your local lottery retailer for your chance to win the Mega Millions jackpot of more than $1 billion. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right. We've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath Road Ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work. No finding a sitter. No sitting in a waiting room. No wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pickup and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. Our high this afternoon near 40 north, upper 40 south. Clear to partly cloudy overnight lows in the low to mid 20s tonight. Sunny, not quite as chilly on Saturday. Our high upper 40s to low 50s. And then Sunday, increasingly cloudy. Our high near 60. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. KERX, Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Vanderbilt's playing great. When I say that, they're competing. I thought they played Tennessee very well last night, although they lost, but they really competed. Coach Stackhouse does a very good job. They run a lot of difficult things that you have to prepare for, as is this league every night. It's going to be hard, and with our team right now, every game is going to have to be earned, that's for sure.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir. All right, it's hour number 2 of the Morning Rush on a Fast Break Friday. Chuck Barrett, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson with you. You heard Coach Muss talking with Chuck following the loss to Alabama on Wednesday, talking about Vanderbilt. You get the Commodores in their place tomorrow. It's kind of a weird setup in there, Jim. We're going to talk about that game coming up in just a sec, Tommy.
Hey, it's a Fast Break Friday brought to you by QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. What in the world is that? Never heard that phrase before. Well, it's unique protocols using the healing agents from your own body to target the aching joints. So, they can fix up the pain in your body with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Don't miss the things you love any longer. Repair and restore the damaged tissue in your body. I've had trouble with my left shoulder. QC Kinetics used their process right there in the office, right here in Northwest Arkansas, to get rid of my shoulder pain. So if it's in your hip, your back, any joint in your body, maybe the arthritis is more than you can bear, it's time to call QC Kinetics. 479-999-1234. They have appointments available next week. 999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
Chuck, you remember that when that jack wagon came on the court a couple years ago after making hit those free throws and was flipping off Manny and the rest of the guys?
I remember. I certainly do. I'll always remember that.
I've never seen anything like that. That's a weird gym setup, dude.
Well, and I'm quite certain Vanderbilt's saying, hey, we're going to win this game tomorrow. I mean, I'm very certain that's what they're thinking right now. They beat Arkansas here last year, their best win of the year. And Arkansas, I'm sure he's telling them, they're reeling. I mean, we got a chance right here. And I think it'll be a tough game. Vanderbilt's had some games where they've been competitive, and they've had some games where they've just been, we'll just say less than competitive. I'll just put it like that. But I guarantee you, Arkansas is going to get their best shot tomorrow. They're not a great shooting team. We may have a lot of missed shots tomorrow. I don't know. But they're pretty good rebounding. They've got a 7-footer that's transferred in from Minnesota. They're a pretty good rim protecting team. They try to win games like a lot of teams try to win games when they're not good offensively, in terms of their shooting. And I think Arkansas is a better overall team than Vanderbilt right now, but, Arkansas is going through some of those same struggles too. So I think that, Vanderbilt, I'm sure Vanderbilt will battle tomorrow. There have been some games where they haven't, just to be very honest. But I think they'll battle tomorrow. I think it's going to be, it may not be the prettiest game aesthetically, but I think that, they'll be ready to go. Arkansas needs to be ready to go.
Tommy, they played Tennessee tough earlier this week, and we consider Tennessee to can either be B or 1A in the SEC right now.
Well, you don't know that Tennessee was clicking on all cylinders.
Out with them two.
And Tommy's right. I mean, there's some rivalry there.
Yeah, well, I was being a little facetious, but that is, I guess, a deal to those that live that way. I think it's just a quirky place to play. The baseline benches. I know your vantage point isn't as good as maybe some other places that you work from. It's up on that stage.
Well, you're in.
But I'm like you. I mean,
basically, is where you are. I mean, you are.
Yeah. I mean, but the players aren't. Players going to play the game on the floor that's just like the ones they play on every game. And I'm like you. I think Vanderbilt tastes a little blood in the water. They think there's an opportunity, and they expect to protect their home court just like Arkansas expects to protect theirs.
They've really been up and down. When they've been bad, they've been bad. I think they lost to Mississippi State at home by almost 30. And, then they play Tennessee's doors off. So, but again, they're even with teams that struggle to win, and Vanderbilt has struggled to win, there are going to be games where you see what they could be. And I really think that's the kind of effort Arkansas is going to get from Vanderbilt tomorrow. I think Arkansas has got to be ready to go. I don't think this team right now is good enough to take even 1 second for granted. I just think that's where they are, and I think you got to be ready to go in there tomorrow and battle.
Our number is 877-377-6963. That's where Dan in Marshall is waiting this morning. Dan, go ahead, man. You're on the Morning Rush.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about the two players that we are missing, but I haven't heard much about the 2 5-stars we have left and all those long-range transfers and the big class from Arkansas, Pinion and Darren Ford. Army crying over spilt milk and keep going on with what we do have, which seems to be more talent than us has ever had before.
Dan, we appreciate your call. I think what you're talking about is the fact that he's working with what he's got right now, but as he's alluded to several times, is Trevin and Nick were supposed to be such a key part of this offense this year. And what you're talking about with Anthony and Jordan and Joseph and Darian and stuff, Joseph and Darian aren't on the same level as the rest of the guys right now. But they have to still tinker and figure out. And those are two of your best shooters, too, guys. And that just changes the dynamic of everything.
Well, I think sometimes when you're not doing well and players are out and you talk about it, some people are going to take it as an excuse, and I get that. And that may be what Dan's doing, and that's, that happens all the time. But what's an excuse to one person is a solid reason to another. And what we're talking about right now with those two guys are just facts. I mean, they're just facts. You can't. It's not an opinion. I mean, and it's really not an excuse. It's just facts. And I think that when you're struggling, and when you don't win. And people are frustrated by that. They do take things like that as excuses. Mm-hmm. But that's not the situation right here. I do get what he's saying. I just don't think that's the way it is right now.
I think you saw some tinkering and some adjustments in this past game against Alabama. They just outmanned you in that game. I mean, there's a reason that's a top 5 team. They've got 2 first-round draft picks at least. They've got Bediako, who seems like he's been there for 10 years. They just outmanned you in that game.
All right, let's say that you take Noah Clowney and Brandon Miller off Alabama's team. How would that game have been Wednesday night?
You win that game probably.
Well, I don't know that you win the game, but it's a game probably in the low 60s, upper 50s, and you got a shot. You got a shot. I don't know if they'd have won if those two guys hadn't played or not, but my point is that, this is, there's 5 guys out there. When you lose 2, that's 40% of just your personnel. And so, it's pretty significant. And I would say that about Alabama or any other team. You take, maybe the 2 best offensive guys you got off the floor, and you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. There's just no way around it.
Yeah. Going to tell him myself right now. I'm over at Gaston's this morning doing the show, and I'm looking out the window. And I'm thinking I've got one of them Smithwick original suspending rattling rogues in the car. I think that's the thing to tie on this morning. Hey, if you're going to the river like I am for a little bit today, or maybe you're going to do some bass fishing later on at Beaver Lake or Table Rock, the Smithwick original suspending rattling rogue will help you catch them. Stays in the strike zone longer, allowing you and hopefully me today to catch more fish. Find yours at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the Smithwick original suspending rattling rogue.
Morning Rush Daily Question when we return next.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate and worried about your cost rising? Interest rates are rising and you may have a problem. Farm Credit can fix that. Talk to Farm Credit about locking in a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. We're offering the longest terms in the ag industry. Talk to Farm Credit today. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com to set your consultation. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
So when I was doing halftime with Phil, I know he was very vocal about this, and I saw this report from CBS Sports that AAA baseball is expected to use an automated ball strike system starting this year. Chuck, I don't know if I've ever gotten your opinion on this. Are you in favor of an automated strike zone?
No, I don't like it. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't even like a replay in baseball.
Interesting.
I think you've taken these people forget that this is entertainment. This is entertainment. You know, with robot umpires, there's no Earl Weaver. There's no Billy Martin.
That's right.
There's no Leo DeRocher. There's none of those guys. There's no Casey Stengel. There's nothing. and they this is a bunch of geeks that are too fascinated with computers.
To your point, and you mentioned a bunch of guys that I'm sure Ty's going, who is Casey Stengel?
I know Jim Joyce, that's about it.
But
these guys are managers.
Yeah. But I want Lou Piniella to come out and kick some dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
I want Billy Martin to come out and raise some hell. And
Whitey Herzog. I mean, they've lost that.
Right. George Brett doesn't fly out of the dugout for pine tar anymore because now with replay, there's no need to get fired up. And you're exactly right, Chuck. Part of the entertainment value in sports is oftentimes the argument. And Dave Van Horn rarely charges out of the dugout and goes and argues with the second base umpire over safe or out because we're just going to go to replay and we'll figure it out. And I think that's part of the entertainment value we miss as fans.
If you've got, and I'm just going to pull numbers out of the air here, let's say you got 10,000 people in the stands, and you got a bang-bang play at first base or a bang-bang play at third, guys trying to stretch a double into a triple, and the call doesn't go your way, and the manager, the coach comes out, and, man, you got a 5-minute rhubarb out there, all right? How many of those 10,000 people would rather see that or would rather sit there for 3 minutes while they go over to the dugout and look at the replay? Here's the thing. There's only going to be about 15 or 20% of the people out there that are going to say the most important thing that happened today was, man, I watched that replay on that play, third base. They forget it's entertainment. That's why crowds are dwindling, and it's why people are bored.
But what was his name? Don Deckinger at third base.
Those
are the first base. Whatever. Well, it was when I was a kid. But that's the play. World Series. That's the reason you need a replay. Is situations like that where a title is on the line.
All right. Well, now let me ask you this: is baseball better served by replay on that play, or is baseball better served by the lore of Don Deckinger? Here we are almost 40 years later.
Yeah.
And for Cardinal fans, he's a household name. And for Royals fans, I mean, they buried him with a ring. I mean, it was it's the truth. And so,
you're right.
If you decide that call by replay, Cardinals win the World Championship. All of us brag about it. But there's no story. There's nothing there. And these guys – I don't know what goes through their brain when it comes to this stuff. I think a lot of it is just pure flat-out ego. And this is entertainment. Baseball's numbers are going through the floor, and there's a reason because they're so eaten up with analytics now. They think a 230 hitter that hits 40 home runs is an all-star. And everything's driven by computer geeks. And this is a terrible idea, and it's going to make baseball even more esoteric and more boring, and it's one of the dumbest things they could ever do, in my opinion. And I'm glad to say that the umpires' union, will never let that happen in Major League Baseball. There may be some robotics to it, but they'll never replace human beings at the major league level because the union will never let it happen.
Is it Billy Bean's fault, Chuck?
I didn't say it was Billy Bean. No, that's a simplistic way of looking at it. No, it's not Billy Bean's fault.
It's high-def TV's fault because the clearer the picture, the more replay angles we have now, the more that we're proving humans wrong. We're proving humans wrong, and everybody wants it to be right for their team, wrong for the other team. And now we can see and watch the game, Chuck, better than we ever have before because of 15 camera angles and drones and high-def looks that we didn't have in 1985.
Well, you've turned the game over to math majors is basically what you've done. I mean, all these general managers look exactly alike. Everything's analytics-driven. And because we, as you say, are fascinated by numbers, fascinated by new things, I think sports people, frankly, buy way too much into analytics. Sometimes just watch the game. Sometimes just watch the guy. Play your gut. That's what makes sports fun. That's what makes sports debatable in the aftermath. That's what makes guys like us have an opportunity to talk about it on a show. Sports is about getting people talking at the water cooler in the morning. That's how you drive the bus. And you've got to have instances where things aren't perfect. You've got to have instances where you don't get it exactly right. That's what keeps the conversation going. That's what keeps it at the forefront. I think they've lost sight of that, and that's why Major League Baseball's dying.
Craig can't agree with you more. He texted in. He's like, I've never agreed with Chuck more than anything than I am right now. So I think there's a lot of people listening right now, Chuck, that are 100% with you.
Well, I mean, if you're old enough to remember when baseball was actually great, and you've got a brain, you've been able to understand how this slide's gone.
I think Tommy, I think I struck a nerve this morning. I didn't know how passionate Chuck would be about this.
Well, you asked. You asked me.
Hey, man, this is what I want, man. This is what I need. I'm good for this.
All right, that's your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Baxter Health. Compassionate care beyond measure.
Chuck, we were talking about this in hour number 1. Interesting story. Kevin Warren, the former commissioner of the Big Ten, has now accepted the Chicago Bears president and CEO job. Now, there's more that's got to be to this story, but what did you think about that move that came out yesterday?
Not surprised. In our part of the world, college football drives the bus, but in most of America, it's the NFL. And I don't know what the gig pays. I know that being a conference commissioner right now is it's a pretty difficult job. Now, rebuilding the Bears is a pretty difficult job too, but if he comes up short there, he won't be the first one. And so, I mean, I don't, to be honest with you, I'm not a Bears fan, and I don't really pay that much attention to the Big Ten. So I don't really have a real feeling either way.
Yeah. The league office is in Chicago, right? So this isn't like he's got to pick up his roots and move his family across the country. It's right there. I'm sure he's had connections. In fact, I think part of his resume in the past has been with the Bears, so it might be like going home for him, and he's not going to have to probably move homes from this current job. But, man, when you're president and CEO, you're one of 32. When you're a Power 5 conference commissioner, I don't think you're just one of 5. If you're the Big Ten or the SEC, you're kind of co-kings of the mountain. So, I mean, he had one of the premier jobs in college sports. But, Chuck, I didn't think about that angle. A lot of people just consider college, it's in the back seat to pro sports. And, maybe in his mind, pro sports, the NFL is big time, and college football, even as a commissioner, is secondary to a role like this.
Well, you could combine the numbers, just to put it in perspective. You could combine the highest viewed Big Ten game with the highest viewed SEC game all season long. Put the numbers together, and it wouldn't equal what the Chiefs and the Bills had for their game. And it's not going to exceed or even come close to what happens in the NFL playoffs. The college football national championship game, I mean, it's a blip on the radar compared to how many people watch the Super Bowl. I mean, the NFL drives the bus nationally. Again, in our part of the world, it's college football. But in the rest of the country, I mean, it's undeniable. It's the NFL.
So he brokered that $1.2 million deal with NBC, CBS, and Fox. Now, unless I'm just forgetting, SEC hasn't finalized their deal with ESPN yet, correct? They haven't done that with the
I haven't
the
read
new...
that they have.
I'm not
I haven't
sure
read
where they are on that.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's coming at some point.
That's the starting point, right? If you're Greg Sankey and the rest of his team, that's where you start money-wise, correct? Based on what the Big Ten...
I don't know about that. I mean, you get into demographics when you start talking about money and advertising and TV revenue and things like that. And the Big Ten's going to win the demographic race, and just based on geography. So, I mean, I don't know that that's the starting point or not. The SECs will probably or the SEC ESPN deal may end up being bigger in terms of dollars. I don't know. I don't know that, if the game's on television, we're going to watch, and none of that money's going to go in our pockets. So however much they make, good for them.
Chuck, what Tommy brought up in hour 1 is that he believes the SEC will take a stronger approach with leading the NIL and portal decisions with the Big Ten seemingly not having a guy in charge right now. Do you kind of feel that same way with kind of a lack of leadership up there?
Well, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it in that respect, to be honest with you. I don't know that there's a competitive advantage necessarily to be gained by him leaving. The thing about being a commissioner is, you're not just the commissioner for, one or two schools. I mean, you're the commissioner for, in the SEC's case, 14, about to be 16. So, you're not going to control everything in terms of, what happens in the league, and television revenue is going to be what television revenue is, and both leagues are going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're going to make silly money. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, and to clarify, you asked me the question, where could there be a competitive advantage? I don't know that there will be, but I don't think conference expansion is coming while they don't have a CEO, if you will, at the top of the Big Ten. I don't think the SEC swooping in and getting teams away from them or going to disrupt one of their TV deals. I think what is paramount now at the forefront right now, and what the appetite in college sports for is right now, is some reform with the portal, with NIL, early signing period. Those are things people are talking about. Mm-hmm. And decisions are going to be made in the short term, perhaps, and I think maybe the SEC has a stronger voice because those are the things that seem to be front burner, guys.
Well, the SEC, Sankey's always going to have a strong voice. And I'll just draw an analogy. If the situation were reversed, and let's say Greg Sankey had left to become the president of the Atlanta Falcons, it's not like the SEC. It's not like they're going to walk in the next morning and everybody's going to be what do we do? They've had people there that have been there a long time that could they could carry on the next day as if nothing happened, and I'm sure it's that way. I'm sure it's that way in the Big Ten too. You were talking about the portal. I think the time's coming very quickly where they're going to do away with the early signing period in college football. Mm-hmm. And I suspect whoever the Big Ten commissioner is going to be on board with that. I suspect whoever the Pac-12, whoever the guys in charge are, there's just some basic common sense involved there. I know Sankey talked about that the other day. But I think that's something right now. Some of the large issues in college football, once you get beyond the television negotiations, and let's face it, however it turns out, you're going to be filthy stinking rich. But I think a lot of the front burner issues are common sense issues, and I think a lot of the commissioners are going to be on the same page on some of those issues.
One of the points that you just made about Warren is in our neck of the woods, we think college football reigns supreme, and most of the time it does. We're talking Razorbacks pretty much 24/7, especially Arkansas football. This is really the first weekend, not that we're not going to have our eyes on Razorback basketball, but with the NFL playoffs starting, it's kind of taking center stage. And I want to go to something Jerry Jones said yesterday about Mike McCarthy and just kind of his future with the Cowboys.
No, I don't even want to. No, that's it. I don't need to go into all the pluses or minuses, but we're not seeing any. We're not basing. I've got a lot more to evaluate Mike McCarthy on than this playoff game.
That was questioned in reference to if they lose this game, is his future in jeopardy? Are we going to keep asking this question as long as Sean Payton is not coaching an NFL team, Chuck?
Oh, I think the idea that, that's one of those questions reporters ask, and they know he can't say yes. His job's on the line. I mean, they know that. That's one of those questions that always gets asked, but the answer is always the same. Mike McCarthy's coaching for his job, just like every other coach in the NFL is, and if they lose Monday night, I suspect there will be a coaching change. If they lose in the next round, I suspect there will be a coaching change. I think change is coming there. But the idea that, the owner of the team 4 or 5 days before the playoff game is going to go, oh, yeah, my head coach's job's on the line today. I mean, you're not going to get that answer ever.
No, I mean, and that's never been Jerry's nature. And
no.
But really, Jerry's nature has been not that he shies away from the media attention, but he held on to Jason Garrett for a long time. I mean, you say change, you kind of feel is maybe closer to imminent than maybe will be evaluated. But I just think about Jason Garrett and how long and how patient Jerry Jones was with him, but he hadn't invested $40 million in a quarterback with Jason Garrett either as the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we'll see. They've got issues beyond the head coach. I'll just put it that way. Hey, I do know this, that if you live in north central Arkansas, you are very fortunate that Baxter Health is right there in your own backyard, because when it comes to health and healing, there really is no place like home. And at Baxter Health, providing compassionate care beyond measure is their mission. They want you to feel like you're at home as best you can, I guess, when you're in a healthcare facility, and they heal you that way. And that is right there in our own backyard. Now, Baxter Health's a Magnet-recognized healthcare facility, wide variety of specialized care, neurosurgery, urology, women's health, orthopedics, infectious disease, pain management. The list goes on. And this is important, too. They've got family medicine and physical therapy clinics that are now accepting new patients, 11 counties in Arkansas and Missouri. If you'd like more information, you can visit baxterhealth.org. Baxter Health, compassionate care beyond measure.
Speaking of health, I do want to update everyone on the status of Peyton Hillis. He is off the ventilator, according to his girlfriend. Now, according to her, she's still got a ways to go. But we did get that positive news this week, Chuck, that he's at least heading in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, it's, as we've discussed, I mean, really just a heroic act by Peyton, and happy to hear things are going well.
That's it.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys know. I probably shouldn't put you on the spot. What is home base today for Peyton Hillis? Do we know where is he living in Arkansas, or is he living somewhere else? Because I don't know. I probably shouldn't ask, but I don't know.
I think he's in Central Arkansas, but I am not certain where on that. And I apologize for not knowing.
I don't either.
Someone told me he was in Siloam, but I can't verify necessarily the authenticity of that.
He was volunteer coaching up there a while. Yeah, I mean. Yeah. Meaning we'll get a text from somebody that will know.
Right.
Like Zippy? Is that verified?
But heroic act. Chuck, you've been to Florida a lot, and you know what kind of goes on down there. I'm sure this is, maybe not the story, but people drowning, people going through this kind of treatment. I'm sure it's something the hospitals down there are accustomed to dealing with to some degree, and he probably had really good care, I would guess.
I'm sure he did.
They're just nearby the ocean. So.
And sometimes, and I don't really know anything about it. I just know that a young body is a pretty powerful healer, and he's fortunately he's young and probably in a whole lot better condition than the average guy, and so he's but very, very happy that he's doing well. Chuck, at least doing better.
You know how you see some guys even today, 20, 30 years, like Herschel Walker. If you look at Herschel today, he still does like 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups, still looks like he'd play. Peyton's one of those guys that you still feel like he could play if he really wanted to, even though he's a few years past his time.
So first time I ever laid eyes on him, it was at Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium, just down the road from where we operate in Springdale. And he was playing for Conway, and it was a preseason jamboree. They had 3 or 4 teams in there, and Fort Smith Southside was one of them, and I was doing some radio work and just happened to be down on the field, and he's coming from the running back spot, and he's lead blocking, and the defensive end steps up, and he's going to try to make the tackle, and Peyton Hillis trucks him, just rolls him. The linebacker comes up next. He just bulldozes him. Here comes the safety, and that guy had seen what happened, and he just took off the other direction. He wanted no part of that, and even from his high school days, he was as physically dominant as we all fell in love with when he was a Razorback.
Great player. I mean, great player.
The deal about Payne was I think people forget he missed the last 3 games in 2006 down the stretch, if I remember that right. Like that injury, I know that people forgot about that.
Thigh bruise.
Yeah, something like that. But he also just could catch the football. So Matt always talks to me about Matt Jones. He always guys that can just play anything, like any position. Payton was one of those guys that could run, that could catch, that could block. He could really do it all.
Football player.
Football
yeah, he's a football player.
Exactly right. All right, let's come back to tomorrow afternoon in Nashville, Memorial Gymnasium. We're talking about kind of the setup later. I don't know, Chuck, you kind of said earlier, I don't know if they're going to come out shooting a blistering percentage tomorrow, but I have to think at some point they're going to click at least shooting the basketball. I'm not talking about from 3, but at some point they keep getting to the line. Those free throws, if they keep working on them, they've got to start falling at some point, I would think.
Well, if you're talking about free throws, I think there's always an opportunity to improve there. And if that's going to be their MO, if they're going to want to get to the free throw line, then, you need to make your free throws. And I don't think that you're going to wave a magic wand and make this a great shooting team. I don't think, there's going to be a point where we look at them and go, man, that is a really good shooting team. So you got to win in other ways. You got to do it in different ways. And, as we were discussing earlier in the last hour, I think forcing more turnovers, defending the perimeter, getting some steals, getting some points in transition, I think those are that's certainly something that would help. But you're going to have to be gritty. Until or unless Smith comes back, you're not going to get Brazile back. And even if Smith does come back, I mean your identity is going to have to be a gritty team. You may have a night where a guy like Black or a guy like Council just goes off, but more oftentimes than not, your margin for error is not going to be as great as it would be if you had, 2 or 3 guys that can knock it down. And so I think this will be that type game. I think they're going to play a lot of games like this during the month of January, particularly. But there's a lot of time between now and March. Again, I don't think, though, that, there is a magic wand solution to turning this into an 80-point team. I don't see that happening.
Fast Break Friday is always brought to you by QC Kinetics. Appointments available for next week. 479-999-1234 is their number. We'll tell you more about QC Kinetics coming up. Guys, I mentioned earlier, kind of told them myself, I'm sitting here at Gaston's in my private cabin this morning. All of their accommodations here are private cabins, private lodges. Right now, there's winter rates in effect, so you can save money when you stay 2 or more nights. Customer service here is just awesome. Got a fireplace here. Most of their cabins do. Most have a full kitchen. It's a great place for families to get away and unwind, relax, or get with some buddies and have a great fishing trip. Gaston's White River Resort, 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
For more than 4 decades, Burton Pools and Spas has been your source for backyard fun. In that time, Burton's has built over 12,000 pools and installed more than 8,000 hot tubs. That makes the Burton family more than 20,000 members strong. See your options, our story, and customer reviews at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. We do more than build pools and install hot tubs. At Burton's, we build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas. Springdale and Fort Smith, your source for backyard fun.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
It's a new year. Why not put a new-to-you vehicle in your driveway? Road Chevrolet wants to buy your vehicle today, and that means you can get out of your old ride and into a great car, truck, or SUV from Road Chevrolet. In fact, trucks starting at only $14,482. Yeah, trucks starting at $14,482. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Arkansas basketball takes on the Vanderbilt Commodores tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You can hear our pregame coverage beginning with the latest edition of the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast at 12. Chuck and Z will be on at 12:30, and then the game tips off at 1. No, Chuck, you're flying out to Nashville later on today. We're just talking about the game. I know this team wants to respond and rally and really pick up that first SEC win for a while tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really competitive game. I think Arkansas is gnawing at the bit to get a win, as you say. And it's a lot more fun to come back home on that plane after a win than it is a loss, I promise you.
Especially with Eric Musselman very open about how he takes losses, and that is not well. Derek and I will have Hog Reaction following the game, so make sure you're tuned into that on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Got another portal edition. Anthony Brown, who didn't really play last year, has entered the transfer portal. I don't know what the number is at now. Tommy, it's just kind of the same old story. Playing time. Guy didn't really play a lick, and that's why it looks like he's moving on. Well, and,
some guys it's obvious, some guys you wonder about, but, this is all going to settle out, and Arkansas is getting guys in. And it seems like they're going out a lot slower than they're coming back in a lot faster at this point.
Last thing here in your Hog Update, Isaiah Joe and the Thunder. He played his former team last night, the Philadelphia 76ers. They got a win, and Isaiah was once again playing well.
There's a deflection and a steal by Joe. He's going to beat everybody down the floor and put it down.
Chuck, I know your schedule's really hard with the game and stuff, and I've talked to Tommy about this. At some point, I've got to make it to OKC the way he's been playing this year. Even Jalen had a great reverse layup last night.
I'd like to go over there. I'm kind of like you guys. I check the schedule every once in a while and see if maybe it'll work. Haven't been able to work it out yet, but yeah, I'd like to get over there and see them.
They're playing well. That's going to do it for your Hog Update. It is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, it's time for our favorite segment of the week. We've got a lot of games. Guys, do you want to try and get through all 6 games this week on our Fence Man Friday picks for playoffs?
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, without further ado, it is a Fence Man Friday.
Fenceman Friday Picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
Sean, first and foremost, good morning, man.
Good morning.
You got the Suns this weekend, I heard?
Yes. My wife is down in Houston running a little half marathon, so we're having a man weekend.
Love it. A lot of food, a lot of fun ahead.
Yep.
And a lot of football ahead, man. We got 6 NFL playoff games to pick from.
It's getting exciting.
All right.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Nitty-gritty. All right, let's start with what's going on in Cincinnati. 2 teams that just played, the Baltimore Ravens and the Bengals. Lamar Jackson ruled out for this game this weekend. Tommy, you're in the lead right now. Hate saying it, but it's true. Cincinnati is a 9-point home favorite. Do they cover this weekend?
Well, that's a lot of points, but no Lamar Jackson. They've kind of gotten used to that. I'll take Cincinnati. Give me the Bengals.
I don't really trust Tyler Snoop Hundley going against Joe Burrow. Give me the Bengals as well. Chuck?
I'll go Cincinnati.
I'm on the same ship as you guys.
Same ship. All right. Next game, New York Giants traveling to Minnesota to take on Kirk Cousins and company. Minnesota, as good as they've been, Tommy, only a 3-point favorite. Kirk Cousins is a fraud in big games. Is he a fraud this weekend?
Give me the Giants to the points and the Giants to win. So,
what about you, Chuck? Are you a Kirk Cousins believer?
I'll take the Giants on the money line and on the spread. How about that?
I love it.
I'm going Oppo Taco. Going the other way.
Going Oppo Taco.
That's right.
Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, I'm going to leave you on that island, man. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins or anything. I remember before they played Dallas in prime time, Dallas waxed him by like 30, so I don't trust Kirk this weekend. Now, here's a guy I do trust. That's Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They're hosting Miami, and just like Lamar Jackson, Miami missing Tua Tagovailoa. They got that kid from Kansas State. He's a good college quarterback. I think his name's Skylar Thompson. Not an NFL quarterback just yet. Tommy, I'm going Bills. They're 13.5-point favorites. You going Bills or going Dolphins?
Oh, I'm going with the Bills. Weather's going to be a factor, as it always is, particularly with a team from Miami. So, yeah, this to me seems obvious, and that's the Bills.
What about you, Chuck?
I'm going to go Buffalo.
Same here.
All right, all on the same thing.
Yep.
All right, keeping it going, the Los Angeles Chargers against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags, Tommy, are actually 2.5-point home dogs in this one. Trevor Lawrence versus Justin Herbert. It's the battle of the best quarterbacks with the best hair. Who wins this one?
Battle of the Coast. I'm going to go with the home team
Okay.
on this one. Go Jags.
What about you, Sean? Going home Jags or going visiting Chargers? It's a long way.
I'm going with the Jags. Got friends and family in that area.
Okay. Chuck, you going home team or you going away team?
I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Chargers, too. I know that's Florida from Los Angeles. It's a long way, but I think Justin Herbert and company, they want to crack it. Kansas City, which I think would be the next matchup. Seattle at San Francisco. Geno Smith versus Brock Purdy, the rookie quarterback sensation that hasn't lost a game yet as a starter, Tommy. Playoffs a little different. Does he choke under the pressure, or do they at least cover? 9.5-point favorites at home.
Ooh, I'll take San Fran to win, but I'll take Seattle in the points for our picks.
Okay. Chuck?
I'm going to go with San Francisco.
Seattle on the points.
Okay. I'm also going to go with San Francisco. I don't know if Purdy can get him out of the next game, but I think with Ayuk and all the weapons they have, McCaffrey and company, they'll get it done. All right, the game we've been looking forward to this weekend the most. That is Tom Terrific hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott. Tommy, Tampa Bay is actually a 2.5-point underdog at home in Raymond James Stadium. Does Tom go 8-0 against the Cowboys on Monday night?
So you're telling me I can take Tom Brady, who hasn't lost to the Cowboys, and get points? I think that's almost a deal too good to be true, but I'll take it.
All right. Chuck, what do you think, man?
I'm going with the Cowboys.
He's going with the Cowboys.
Did you say they're playing at home? Cowboys?
Cowboys are on the road.
On the road. Oh, that changes things, man. I'm still staying with my wallet. I got a lot of customers are Cowboy fans, so we're staying there.
I think this is a put up or shut up game for Dak. I know Zeke's confident in his quarterback this weekend. Jerry's confident. I'm going to leave you on that island, Tommy, even though it's Tom Brady. I'm going to go Cowboys as well.
Yeah, I hope the Cowboys win, but sure don't like what history tells me.
Right. Tommy just wants to be right.
Absolutely. Yeah, because none of y'all do. I mean, all of you guys thrive on being wrong.
So. We're not trying.
We're not trying.
No self-confidence there, right? None? So.
No, none at all. So, hey, what I am confident in is if I need a fence, I know who to call, and that's my buddy Sean right here. We tell you all the time, the fence man's the one to turn to. 782-3936. Sean, get on that schedule. Get that bid right now, get that quote, and be ready to go for spring.
Oh, I'm telling you guys, it's already started. Our calendar's full with appointments for free quotes. I'm trying to hire on a couple more salesmen to be able to get to you people, or get to my customers. I'm terribly sorry, but thank you very much. Get on our list. We're excited to put some fences in this year.
782-3936. Even got 18 months, same as cash financing as well. Sean, have a great weekend with the guys, and we'll see you next Friday here on the Morning Rush.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time.
All right, hour number 3 coming up here on the Morning Rush. Want to get into some more SEC basketball games outside of just Arkansas and Vanderbilt, what the conference outlook is looking like moving forward.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard. That's Leaf Guard Gutters, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system that's guaranteed to never ever clog that's on the market. And how important is that? If you have old regular gutters clogged with muck and mud and shingle grit, add some of this rainwater, toss in freezing temperatures, and now you got a disaster on your hands. That frozen concoction that's just hanging on could cost you big bucks if it rips away from your roof. Stop the insanity. Get Leaf Guard Gutters and rest easy. Act now and save your hard-earned money by taking advantage of the winter savings sale. Half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard gutter system. New orders only. Some restrictions may apply. This sale does not include material costs, so make sure you ask a sales associate for all the deets on that and the 18 months no interest financing, as well as senior and military discounts. The winter savings sale at Leaf Guard of Arkansas. Call them now at 501-664-5400 or visit leafguardandmore.com.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Light beer.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work. No finding a sitter. No sitting in a waiting room. No wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pickup and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right. We've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath Road Ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. Our high this afternoon near 40 north, upper 40 south. Clear to partly cloudy overnight lows in the low to mid 20s tonight. Sunny, not quite as chilly on Saturday. Our high upper 40s to low 50s. And then Sunday, increasingly cloudy. Our high near 60. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The Hit That Line podcast network is now available on Pandora Music and Podcasts. Just open your app or browser and search Hit That Line. You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
Vanderbilt's playing great. When I say that, they're competing. I thought they played Tennessee very well last night, although they lost, but they really competed. Coach Stackhouse does a very good job. They run a lot of difficult things that you have to prepare for, as is this league every night. It's going to be hard, and with our team right now, every game is going to have to be earned, that's for sure.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
All right, hour number 3 of Fast Break Friday here on the Morning Rush. We got NFL playoffs this weekend. We got Arkansas and Vanderbilt tomorrow at 1. You also got some SEC basketball that I know a lot of you will be paying attention to, particularly what's going on in Knoxville between the Cats and the Vols. We'll talk about those games coming up in just a sec here, Tommy, on a Fast Break Friday.
You know, we're a couple of weeks into a brand new year, and you don't have to live this year like you did in 22 with joint pain that keeps you from fishing, from going hunting, climbing your tree stand, golf on a great spring or summer day. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. They've got unique protocols that use the healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring the damaged tissue in your body. Call QC Kinetics and ask more about their life-changing, all-natural treatments that can get you living your best life again here in 2023. I'm a fan. You'll be raving about their treatments when you go through their process. 479-999-1234. Hey, the future of joint pain management and appointments are available for you next week right here in Northwest Arkansas. 999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
We don't have any ranked matchups this weekend in this league, but Kentucky is still very intriguing to me how this season plays out with Cal. Tennessee's playing great basketball right now. Guys, do you expect this game to be competitive in Knoxville tomorrow at 11 o'clock?
I think it'll be competitive, yes. That's a rivalry game. Tennessee and Kentucky, you go back before we were in the league. That's a rivalry game. Tennessee views Kentucky as their biggest basketball rival, and a lot of years it's been the other way around too. So I think that'll be a competitive game, but I think Tennessee will win.
Yeah, it's a point of pride, I think, right now for Kentucky. I mean, their backs are to the wall. There's a lot being said about them. It's kind of man check time, I think, gut check time for Kentucky.
So Kentucky's got similar to issues that Arkansas does. They can't really shoot. They got that Frederick kid that they aren't using as much, but defensively it's weird. Like Cal usually has his guys playing good defense early on. They're not necessarily clicking on offense. And Chuck, from what you've watched, is that the weirdest thing about this team is the fact that they're not really playing on the defensive side of the floor?
Well, they've got a couple of players. I mean, they've had some injuries too. I mean, they've not been playing with a full deck. I just don't think they've got as good of players as some of the teams that they've played. I think they've been passed in recruiting, they're good. Whether or not they're going to be in the NCAA tournament, I don't know. I would imagine that they will be, but I just think Tennessee's a better team. When talking about the game tomorrow, if that's what you're talking about, I mean, Tennessee's better. Tennessee's better than Kentucky. They're playing at home. Tennessee will win, I think. But I don't think it's, I don't think it means Kentucky's terrible. I just think it means Tennessee's really good.
I look at kind of the rest of the games.
I think what we're seeing is Alabama and Tennessee guys are just on a different level than teams 3 through 14 or 3 through 8 or 9, wherever you want to break it off at. But those two are on a different level currently. May not stay that way, but currently they're just playing better than everybody else.
You might have to have on our Pradco Pyramid of Power next week, Tommy, them being 1A and 1B and having just two teams or one team in that Tier 2 category, because it's looking like that Nate Oates and Rick Barnes clash coming up in February. It's going to be one that a lot of eyes, not just in the SEC, will be on. But that. What do we make of Missouri? We get them next week on the road. It's kind of close up from when you played them at home. Really, first half they played a lot better. Second half they fell apart against you. They're going to Florida this week. What have we made of a ranked team that I don't think a lot of people thought much of Coach Gates and company heading into this season?
Well, I think they played well. I think they're one of the teams in the league that, when people started casting their preseason votes, not a lot of people thought about. But you look at them right now, and that's a good team. Now, Florida's struggled some, but they're still at home, and it's still a difficult place to go play. I mean, it's not like Arkansas has won a bunch of games down there. So it'll be tough for Mizzou to win it, but I kind of think they'll go on the road and win the game.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, Missouri's clearly been a team that I think a lot of people thought this would be a transition, rebuilding year with with a new coach, and they have exceeded and surprised most people's expectations so far.
I think a lot of people were surprised initially at what Mississippi State has done, but they've taken a step back in conference play. They're going to a place that you just had to go this past Saturday in Auburn. I mean, that outside of Bud Walton Arena, you could argue that Auburn's probably the toughest place to play in the SEC based on their win streak alone. Is Auburn going to – I mean, do you think they lose a home game all year? Are they going to keep that – I think they're up to 20, 27, 28 now. Are they going to win every single game at home the rest of the way?
Alabama will beat them there if they play them there. I don't know what the schedule is, but if Alabama plays them there and they're at full strength, they'll beat them. But other than that, they might win them all.
That's a tough game. All right, speaking of Alabama, they host LSU, who is another kind of surprise team. McMahon has done a pretty decent job there since getting there. They played, I think, every game, even losses. They've been competitive this season. Bama has just won one of the biggest wins of the season going to Bud Walton. Is there any letdown coming back home with LSU coming to town?
I don't know about a letdown. I mean, you're not going to be great every time out. I don't know that Alabama considers their performance this past Wednesday night to be great. I don't know. I don't know what their reaction was after the game, other than, hey, we're really happy we won. So, Alabama, I just think right now, and it doesn't mean it'll be this way in a month, but right now Alabama looks like they're clicking on all cylinders, or at least closer than any other team in the league. But I suspect LSU will play their brakes off. I would imagine LSU will come in there and give them all they got, but I would think Alabama would win.
Yeah. The question is Alabama playing their absolute best right now? Maybe too early, or is the best yet to come? We just don't know the answer, but if Alabama gets a lot better, that's pretty scary. But, even if you're an Alabama fan and you're Nate Oates and you're that staff, January's not the time to peak. So I think the best is yet to come for this Alabama team even.
Well, the thing that, as we've come to see very quickly, that, things can change. I mean, in the blink of an eye, things can change. You don't have a Trevin Brazile. You don't have a Nick Smith. Alabama could lose Brandon Miller. Alabama could lose Noah Clowney. Bediako, something could happen. Same thing with with Tennessee, some of the other teams. I mean, as we've seen, it can change in a hurry. So all that's going to factor in too.
I want to come back to this Arkansas game tomorrow afternoon. By the way, it's on ESPNU in addition to being right here with Chuck and Z on ESPN Arkansas at 1 o'clock. Arkansas, one of the things they got dominated in on Wednesday night was the fast break points that I think a lot of people were surprised at. Chuck, you mentioned that in hour two, how they've got to get more out in transition and stuff. I know that it's also contingent on stopping Vandy and whoever else they play moving forward. Is that something you expect to see tomorrow? Is Muss telling them to push the pace a little more and get some fast break opportunities?
Well, I think you do that with your defense. You do that forcing turnovers. You do that getting steals out on the perimeter. You do it off long rebounds. And look, if you're going to want to do much beyond that, you got to make some shots. I think you'd love to push the pace when you can. But, the game's going to dictate some of that. What you're able to do is going to dictate some of that. Or in some cases, what you're not able to do is going to dictate some of that. But, I think if you're going to get out on the floor and score in transition, you better force some live ball turnovers or be ready to go off long rebounds.
Yeah, because that's the area you look at the other night was the fast break points. What was it, 24-7? I don't get the box score here. 24-4.
And those came off turnovers primarily.
Yeah.
Early in the ball game particularly. I mean, Alabama – the points off turnovers was huge. When they forced a turnover, they scored off of it, which tells you that generally that's happening out on the perimeter somewhere. You're getting in transition off that, and you're scoring on the other end.
Yeah. Points off turnovers for Alabama was 24. Their fast break points were 24. I don't think that's a coincidence.
No, not at all.
I think there's a chance that Mutt starts Jalen Graham tomorrow. Best game of the season. I know he's not as polished defensively as Muss wants him to be, but we've seen him mix it up a little bit. Any chance that Jalen starts tomorrow?
I'm not sure what they're thinking there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's game to game with matchups and what the other team presents on their front line. But I thought he was the player of the game as far as expectations and playing better than you thought. I thought he came off the bench, and Chuck added a real spark for the team against Alabama.
No doubt about it. I mean, as Muss has said, he is, and as we've seen, I mean, he's very good on the offensive end. Now, coaches see other things beyond what we see when somebody has the basketball. And I know he talked about, closing out when Clowney hit that three out of the corner. And, when you talk about does somebody start, I've always maintained this, that you can tell the level of trust a coach has in a player by whether he puts him out there with a game on the line. And I think that's the bigger question is, if you get in a situation with a game on the line, who are the guys that you trust out there? Vandy's a pretty good rim protecting team. They've got a 7-foot transfer out of Minnesota. He's a pretty decent player, good player. I shouldn't say pretty decent. He's a good player. Vanderbilt's been pretty good on the offensive glass. They don't shoot it real well. So sometimes when you don't shoot it real well, your best offense is, put it up and go get it. And that's kind of what they've done. They've had some games where they've been really competitive, like against Tennessee the other night. They've had some games where they've not been competitive at all. They've just been terrible. But I guarantee you, Jerry Stackhouse is telling his team we can win this game. I mean, he's telling them we won at Bud Walton Arena last year. We can win at home. And even for teams that don't win a lot of games, there are certain ball games, certain Saturdays generally, where you get their best shot. And I suspect that's going to happen tomorrow.
One of the plays from Jalen Graham the other night you won't find in the box score, he got a rebound. It was in the first half, and he was kind of pinned under the goal, but he could have dribbled out. There was an Alabama defender, I guess it would be, standing out of bounds. He just banged the ball off of him. He didn't want anything to do with trying to dribble and find a guard to get it to, but just kind of got out of bounds and basically set up a scenario where we're not going to turn the ball over, right? Or I'm not going to turn the ball over, but he wanted no part of dribbling out of that, Chuck.
He's a good player. He's got a lot of moves around the basket. He's a veteran player. And, when you score 16, I mean, you're probably going to get to play the next time out. But I do think that, and this ball game may be one of those, maybe one of those low-scoring games. But when you're playing a team that's really good on the offensive glass, keeping them off the offensive glass is just as important as scoring. You certainly don't want to trade basket for basket in that respect. So those things are important too.
Well, that's a strength on strength because Arkansas is number one in the league in preventing offensive rebounds, and hopefully they'll show up tomorrow in that category. So you kind of just laid out 7-footer, what they do well. Chuck, no Scottie Pippen Jr. on this Vandy team, but tell our listeners kind of what else they do under Jerry Stackhouse.
Well, they don't have the 30-point a game guy like Pippen is. I mean, as I said, they struggle to shoot. They've struggled to score in games. There have been games where they've scored below 50. It's not a great offensive team. But that doesn't mean that that's not what Arkansas will see tomorrow. My concern, in terms of tomorrow is not necessarily what kind of team Vanderbilt's had overall. It's what kind of team they're going to have for 2 hours tomorrow. You go play on the road on Saturday in the SEC. That's why I said a minute ago, I think Arkansas will get their best shot tomorrow. Even in situations where you have teams that struggle to win, there's going to be a Saturday or two out there where they play really well at home. And generally it is on a Saturday when things like that happen. And I think Arkansas will get their best shot.
I think there'll be a decent number. Go ahead, Tommy.
When you go from, it wasn't the late game Wednesday night, it's the 6 o'clock game. You go from a night game Wednesday to playing on Saturday. You got one less day than the teams that played on Tuesday. And how does that change the preparation for the players and the staff when you've got, just one less working day to get ready for the Saturday game?
Well, it happens pretty quick. I mean, you think about, you're playing a game on Wednesday night and, you don't wake up with a bounce in your step, I wouldn't think, Thursday morning, whether you win or lose. There's a physical toll. There's only so much you're going to be able to get done on Thursday. You may not be any good on Wednesday night. I'm not saying that was the case here, but just generally speaking, your team may not be any good on Wednesday night, and you may want to work them out for 3 hours to try to correct it. But if you got a game on Saturday, you can't do that. And if it's a road game, you travel Friday.
Right.
So that's just sort of how it works, and that's the that's, as we've discussed with trying to get it right offensively, if you want to use that phrase. That's why it's difficult to do in season. You can't go back and have a week between games where, hey, we're going to practice 2 hours every day. We're going to say do it again 1,000 times, and we're going to get it right. I mean, it's plus. I mein, you've got to be physically ready to play. I mean, you got to be able to get out on the floor and play well with maximum effort the next time out. So, it happens quick, that's for sure.
And you're going to travel, so I mean, it just it all just really. As I was thinking through it, there's just no court time really available at all for the team to really go through what you consider a practice. That's pretty much what you just said there. So it'll all turn around here pretty fast.
You talk about travel, Tommy. Chuck, I think you mentioned this on Wednesday. I've got a good number of friends that are going to this game that are either driving over from Arkansas or that live in Nashville. So I think it's kind of like when they play in football. I don't know if it'll be the same split when you play Vanderbilt in football, but I think you'll see a good number of Hawk fans in attendance tomorrow.
There'll be some there. I mean, there'll be more Vanderbilt fans, obviously, and basketball is different than football. I mean, football you can max out. You can get 5, 7, 8,000 tickets if you're willing to guarantee them as a road team. So, you've got an opportunity to have a section that everybody notices. Basketball is a little bit different. I think Arkansas's allotment for this weekend is about 100. Sometimes it's a little more than that. But I do think there will be fans, particularly from the eastern side of the state, that can make it a day trip. It's a 1 o'clock game. You can get up early, drive over, go to the game, drive home. I think there'll be some people in the eastern part of the state that do that.
I can't remember if it was last year or this year when it was reported they had a players-only meeting. Chuck, based on what you've seen in the games this season, is there an unquestioned leader player-wise of this basketball team, or do you think it's more like leadership by committee at this point?
Well, I think if you look at what's going on the floor, Anthony Black's been the guy that obviously has the ball in his hands the most, and from that perspective, you're the leader. I think Kamani Johnson is a real leader on this team, and I think Devo is too, and that's the way it needs to be. I mean, they're the two guys that are back. I think Kamani's voice is really powerful with this team. But I think, among the players that are playing right now, if you go by performance, Anthony Black's the guy that you look to. But, in terms of the locker room, I think you look to the two guys who've been there before.
Yeah. Guys, I got the old Bet Saracen app up right now. The game for tomorrow's not on here. There's some college basketball for today. The line on the Arkansas Vandy game will be out a little bit later. But what's front and center is all those NFL games that we just talked about in the last segment. So with our picks. So if you want some action, and the fun thing, guys, is you can get all the in-game stuff and you can get the parlays going. But Ty, I think one of the fun things at Bet Saracen, particularly on a weekend that's wild card weekend of the NFL, it's all the in-game plays you can make.
Parlays, in-game plays, you can do it all on the Bet Saracen app. And I know that a good chunk of Morning Rush listeners that I talk to on a weekly basis, they make a lot of money on that in-game stuff. There was, I don't know how many Devo props there were on Wednesday night, but I think Devo hit them all. So, and here's how you make money. Chuck, you listening? You fade Zach Arntz. Anything that Zach tells you from 2 to 7, I'm not kidding. Every single pick I think he's given has made people money because they've done the opposite. So if you want to make money on the Bet Saracen app, whatever Zach Arntz tells you to do the opposite.
So he is right. You just got to go the other direction. There's an
taco.
old Seinfeld bit about that somewhere.
Fade him, man. Fade Zach Arntz. Yeah. Start the bus. Fade Zach Arntz, man.
Yeah. All right, so that's Bet Saracen. Get that app or go to betsaracen.com for all the details.
All right, so outside the Cowboys game, you referenced the NFL playoffs. We've got 6 games this weekend. No Eagles, no Chiefs. They've got to bye. Chargers at Jags, Miami at Buffalo, Giants at Minnesota, Baltimore at Cincinnati, Dallas at Tampa Bay. Guys, I'm missing one. I forgot what the other one was. What's the best game of the weekend? What's the game that we're going to be talking about first outside the Cowboys on Monday?
That's a hard one to say because you don't have the marquee matchups, like you're going to have next week and obviously the week after that. The Giants and the Vikings, there's nothing really in our part of the country, nothing really that, gets you going unless you're a Giants or a Vikings fan, obviously. But I think that's got a chance to be a competitive game. I think the Jacksonville-San Diego game will be a good game to watch.
Yeah, the computers say the Jacksonville, the Chargers and the Jags should be the closest game, at least from the computer models and what they're predicting.
I want to see what Purdy does out in San Fran. Rookie quarterback, it's one thing to do in the regular season. How you going to handle it, young blood, when you're playing against playoff teams? Not just this weekend, but moving forward. That's the game I'm intrigued by. All right, we got a lot more coming up here with Chuck. Talk more basketball and football as well. Want to update you also on Peyton Hillis and just kind of his situation. All that's coming up on a Fast Break Friday edition of the Morning Rush right here. Stay with us.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
At Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is the #1 place to watch every Arkansas basketball game this season. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is only $16.99. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is made with pulled pork from Neumeyer's Rib Room, sausage, Canadian bacon, pepperoni, crispy bacon, and cheese. Dusted with Neumeyer's Rib Rub. Hop on the Must Bus for every Arkansas basketball game at Papa's. 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. You might know us as your source for large Xerox multifunction or production printers. But for many of you, your needs have changed. Smaller equipment has become more necessary, and we are here to help. We carry the Xerox desktop models, but also brother workhorse printers and multifunctions with 3-year replacement warranties included. So give us a call at 479-783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document solutions to the River Valley.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You know, when I think about Wade, he was not a scorer, but he knew what it took to score, if that makes sense. Tony was that way. And I think that what this team, I won't say it lacks, but what you hope it gains as we go along is that what those other 4 guys are doing, that's just as important as what the guy with the basketball is doing.
All right, welcome back into the Morning Rush here on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. It is a Fast Break Friday edition. We're going to come back and talk some more Razorback basketball in just a bit. Also touch on some more NFL playoff stuff. And I want to come back to this Kevin Warren situation. For those who don't know, the Big Ten commissioner, he is now taking the Chicago Bears job, the president and CEO. That was kind of the big news yesterday that came out. But first, want to welcome in our guy, Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources this morning into the program. Larry, what's up, man?
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, just on my way down the hill, you know, Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, inflation elimination, that's what's going on right now, guys, and we're making it happen. Our live market value pricing is pushing those prices down. Makes it the best time to buy that we've seen in several years. Folks, you can come in and take advantage of a big selection, cars and trucks and SUVs, all the most popular makes and models right here in one place. Find just the one that's right for you and your family, and let us worry about getting that price and payment to where it fits your budget. That's what it's all about. When we make that happen, you can start driving better, and you can keep driving better with that terrific service in the Meineke Car Care Center. Right now, we're offering Meineke Mile prepaid maintenance programs and service contracts that save you even more money. The great hedge against inflation, save you about 20%, below today's prices. Who knows what those prices will look like in a year or two. What a great way to give yourself some protection that way as well. And the Mitsubishi store in Springdale, they're doing fantastic, particularly with the new Outlander. We're finally getting a good supply of those. We got in a truckload of them just a couple of days ago. It's a great time to come in and test drive that exciting new vehicle and see what all the buzz is about. That's a fantastic vehicle. We sell them about as quick as they come in. Right now, a good selection of the new Mitsubishi Outlander, 100,000-mile warranty. Just a terrific car. Shop it against the competition, and you'll see it's a value brand. You're going to save $5,000, $10,000 over everything else in that class and get the best-looking car on the road while you're at it. Also, that great Meineke Car Care Service in Springdale as well. Rath Road Ready premium pre-owned vehicles at both locations. Just a terrific time to come out and say us. We hope you'll do it this weekend. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. Check us out online, rathauto.com.
You heard the man. 2 great locations, Fort Smith and in Springdale. Larry, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good weekend. Folks, come and see us.
Also teased heading to the break. Want to let everyone know Peyton Hillis is off the ventilator, according to his girlfriend. He's still got a ways ahead of him, according to her, but is dealing with kidney and lung issues right now after the heroic thing he did when he went out and got his children out of the undertow down there in Pensacola. Chuck, they did a great job on Brandon Miller Wednesday night, and that's kind of the MO and the mantra of Eric Musselman is like their best guy, whoever it is, who they face each and every time. They're going to do their best to limit them. You mentioned the Minnesota 7-footer, and again, they don't have a Scottie Pippen Jr., but who would you guess that this basketball team's probably going to key in on tomorrow afternoon?
Well, I think it's the big guy. I think you've got to be cognizant of him. I think that's, when you've got somebody in there like that, I think that's one of the guys that you've got to be conscious of.
Tommy, have you ever been to Vanderbilt? You ever seen a game there?
I have not seen a game there. Me and Ruskin were over there for the SEC tournament. We walked around the campus and very, as you guys know, right there in the heart of the city and buildings all around it. If you don't know where you're looking for Memorial Auditorium there for where they play basketball, it just kind of blends into the rest of the campus scenery.
Well, you turn in it left at P.F. Chang's, Chuck. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. You turn there at P.F. Chang's, and that's how you get there.
That's kind of in the Midtown area. But, yeah, it blends in, Tommy. I'd say that's a good way to put it. You're driving, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's a college campus right there kind of tucked away. But Vanderbilt is very much landlocked tomorrow. Hopefully this basketball team won't be as landlocked offensively tomorrow. I don't think anyone expects them to be the number 1 team in scoring this year. But we got to remember, and I know that harped on this, that the uphill battle of this team's a lot more difficult in the last 2 years. They weren't great offensively the last 2 years because he's still trying to fit pieces together and stuff. The chemistry takes time to build. You saw a little bit of on Wednesday night. Hopefully you'll see more positive things in the right direction in a road game tomorrow, guys.
Well, I think the thing you got to remember is, you don't have J.D. Notte, who bombs away. You don't have, Moses Moody out there, who's, pretty good bet from beyond the arc. So, you don't have that type player right now. Maybe it'll happen. Now, again, you've got to hit those shots in clutch moments, because the thing about conference games is, it's not like non-conference ball games. A lot of non-conference ball games, you're, who's going to win with 10 minutes left in the game. It's not that way in SEC games, and there are critical moments. And, you can be a 28% or a 30% three-point shooter, but if you hit a big shot in a big moment, you're money. You can shoot 35, 38%. If you can't hit it at that moment, you're not. So, that to me is the difference in this team right now, and maybe those other two is, you don't have that guy out there that can knock it down and get on a run.
Yeah, the real question is, does Chuck have his Wranglers starched and his Ariat shirt ready to go and his boots polished up?
Nashville's a much more urban city. Nashville's a much more, up there where we're going to be. Ty was talking about the Vanderbilt area there. You're kind of off Music Row. So you're up there in a campus setting. It's not so much country music there, but down on Broadway there are some parts that are. But I don't have any starched jeans, so I'm just going to have to stay in tonight, I guess.
I'm sure they'll be disappointed over there.
Oh, man. Golly.
Well, safe travels, and I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I don't think you call it must-win, but this is a really need-to-win ball game tomorrow.
You sure don't want to lose. That's for sure. You sure don't want to lose.
Yeah, hopefully they can get on a win streak starting tomorrow. All right, we're going to come back, get into our SEC update. You've got Arkansas and Vanderbilt. What other SEC teams are in action and where are they playing this weekend? We'll tell you next.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today to schedule your consultation. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
For more than 4 decades, Burton Pools and Spas has been your source for backyard fun. In that time, Burton's has built over 12,000 pools and installed more than 8,000 hot tubs. That makes the Burton family more than 20,000 members strong. See your options, our story, and customer reviews at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. We do more than build pools and install hot tubs. At Burton's, we build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas. Springdale and Fort Smith, your source for backyard fun.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work. No finding a sitter. No sitting in a waiting room. No wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pickup and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
The Golf Nut has been Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994. Beat the heat. Book a time in their hitting bays with the TrackMan technology or play around on one of the many courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Needing help with your game? Call Matt Brooks today and schedule a lesson using the simulator. For the best selection of clubs, shoes, and apparel, stop by the Golf Nut today. 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 stop shop for everything golf.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design. Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to AshleyAir.com to request service today.
So I saw Derek Mason, former Vanderbilt head coach, is taking a sabbatical from coaching. Was the OSU defensive coordinator, but looks like he's stepping away for a little bit. I think that came out yesterday on that news, Tommy. He's a guy that's pretty sought after, had some pretty good defenses at Auburn and Stillwater.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he wants to coach again, he'll have a chance. And, these guys are, you can see where the burnout would come. They financially do well enough that if they choose to take a break, they can. So I would suspect we'll see more from Derek Mason somewhere down the line.
Yep. Basketball matchups this weekend. We know Arkansas is playing Vanderbilt in Memorial Gymnasium at 1 o'clock tomorrow right here, ESPN Arkansas. Hit that line.com. Also on ESPNU. Tommy, I may be watching that Kentucky-Tennessee game at 11 o'clock on ESPN. That's the game I have circled. In addition to Alabama hosting LSU, those are the two games outside the Razorbacks I really want to see.
And I think when your team's good, like Arkansas is expected to be good, we'll see where they finish up. You're just more interested in what happens with the other teams. So, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of people that are watching what else happens in the league and kind of seeing where you measure up right now.
All right, last thing here in your SEC update. Here is Ezekiel Elliott on Dak Prescott, former Mississippi State quarterback, and the confidence he feels heading into Tampa Bay Monday night.
I expect Dak's best. That's just the type of player Dak is. That's the type of work he puts in. I look forward to seeing him play his best football.
Tommy, I don't think that Dallas Cowboy fans feel that same sentiment that Ezekiel just shared. I just don't know how confident they are playing Tom Brady on Monday night.
Yeah, I think the best quarterbacks, the cream rises to the top, and Dak's a good quarterback, but you got to have a great quarterback. Dak's not bad. He's just not on the same level as the younger guys right now.
It's a different deal. Tommy,
that's kind of where we're at.
That's your SEC update. It is brought to you by Ashley Air.
Hey, if you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. That's Ashley Air, the same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system, can meet your plumbing needs. Right now, get $50 off any plumbing repair, or they can clean drains out for $129. It comes with a 2-year parts and labor warranty as well. Clogged drains, leaky faucets, busted pipes, Ashley Air. Remember that name. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your service appointment. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. Well, time to check in on Oaklawn Racing. Lang Whitman usually joins us in this spot. He's under the weather this morning and unable to be here, but he sent me his notes, Ty, and we're ready to go for another big weekend of racing. The weather hopefully going to improve. We've had some good weekends, but weather may be a factor this weekend as we've seen kind of a windy, cold snap move across our state. The northern part of the state saw some snow yesterday, so should be maybe a little tougher weekend for racing. You look at going into Week 5, the jockey standings. Christian Torres is leading the way with 15 wins. And you look at the trainer standings right now. Robertino Diardo has got 16 wins. In third place, Chris Hartman has 10 and only 24 starts there. And Ron Moquette, kind of a River Valley favorite from Pecola, Oklahoma. A lot of people in Fort Smith, Greenwood area know Ron. He's got 9 wins in his third in the trainer standings heading into Week 5. Now, last week, the track totally favored front runners is what Lang wanted us to pass along. Difficult for late runners to make up the ground. We'll see how the track changes this week for this weekend's card that begins today. Saturday's card features the $150,000 fifth season stakes. It's a 1-mile race for 4-year-olds and up. Gino Bill is the favorite on the morning line at 7-5, but lurking at 4-1 a veteran horse you should kind of circle when you're handicapping this race is their Oakland favorite, Rated R Superstar. So should be a good race. That's the $150,000 fifth season stakes, the 1 mile race tomorrow. Now, Lang always gives us a great pick on Friday, and hope to make a little money, looking for maybe a little bit of a long shot. That takes us to the 6th race today. Number 10, Victory March, is at 3-1 for trainer Brad Calhoun. He broke his maiden in his last start at the fairgrounds in New Orleans, and today looks to make it 2 straight wins. A repeat of that effort from back in December on the 18th could land him in the winner's circle again. So look out today for number 10 in the 6th race, going off 3-1. Brett Calhoun, that's the best bet of the day today. Our Oakland picks every week. Lang can get you those picks, by the way, on social media at the Railbird 333 on Facebook or Twitter. Our updates always brought to you by Marshall's Management. Real estate investors, if you're listening right now, are you being underserved and overcharged by your current property managers? Have you ever added up what the real management fee is? The total charges, what they take away from your gross rents to what you receive in your bank account. What is that real percentage that you're seeing in charges? Sometimes they tell you one fee, and by the time or a percentage, and by the time you add up all the extras, that percentage can be a lot higher than what you thought you'd negotiated. Hey, it's a new year. That means it might be time for a new property manager for your investments. Marshall's Management's been doing this for more than 10 years, and they understand they're managing more than just your buildings, your apartments, your condos, your duplexes. They manage your money. Marshall's Management Group, 479-242-7081. That's 242-7081 or online at marshallsrentals.com.
We're talking about Zeke being confident in Dak Prescott in our SEC update. Again, the NFL games this week. And we know got Arkansas and Vanderbilt at 1 o'clock right here. Derek and I will have hog reaction following that game. Chargers at Jacksonville, Seattle at San Francisco, Miami at Buffalo, Giants at Minnesota, Baltimore at Cincy, Dallas at Tampa Bay. Tommy, which is the team that should be on upset alert heading into this weekend? For me, it's Minnesota hosting the New York Football Giants.
That's probably a good place to start. I really can't see Miami going to Buffalo and winning, with all of the emotion around Hamlin, with the weather, with everything there. I'm not sure how much of an upset when you look at the line it would be if Dallas, if either of those teams win. I know that. Dallas is dropping a few points, but if Tampa Bay wins, do we consider that an upset? Probably not. Chargers, Jags, pretty close. So there's really not a lot of games you consider it, a big upset, because there's a lot of close lines, and that's part of what Wild Card Weekend should be about.
Yeah, I think that the NFL is so different from college in terms of the close. You see college football lines all the time that are huge differentials, but the fact that I think the biggest one on this list is 13.5. That just tells you the competitive nature and the difference on this. I want to know who's going to be in that AFC Championship. Not that the NFC Championship and the NFC isn't intriguing, but are we going to see Burrow and Allen? Or, excuse me, are we going to see Burrow and Mahomes, or are we going to see Allen and Mahomes? That's really the only scenario I can see taking place in the AFC, is those three teams vying for who's going to the Super Bowl.
I'd like to see Josh Allen. I think that the Bills are kind of America's favorite story right now, and I like Josh Allen, but I think Joe Burrow may end up, when it's all said and done, being the best out of that group. But I think Mahomes, in most people's opinion, is at the top of that heap right now. But any of those guys, it wouldn't be a surprise to see any of those three, and obviously only one can be there out of the AFC. Wouldn't be a surprise at all to see those three get there.
Well, the deal
or
with
any of those three get there.
This is more in your wheelhouse and a lot of our listeners. I didn't get to see how devastating it was for Bills fans to lose 4 straight Super Bowls. I know Kelly was slinging it back in the day. I can't even imagine to get to the mountaintop 4 times, and then right before you click the tallest point, you get kicked off. And I know there was a kicker, or there's some kicks that were missed in that group of games, but golly, I can't imagine the devastation that went down. What was that, in the 80s? 40 years ago? That's just horrible.
Early 90s, too. Yeah, Cowboys were part of that. It used to be, he's the Marv Levy of. That would be the analogy people would draw with the Bills head coach, who could get his team there but not quite get over the hump. And, a lot of things in sports or in life would be, he's the Marv Levy of. If you could get right there but just not quite pull the top ring down. So, yeah, the Bills became synonymous with being, I guess, bridesmaids, so to speak.
Yeah, you don't want to be no disrespect because you said he's like the kindest guy ever, but Mike Martin got Florida State how many College World Series? Like 12 or whatever the number is, but
I think more than that.
Never won one. Like that's for Bills fans who experienced that pain back in the 80s and 90s, like you're referencing, for them to again achieve that pinnacle with Josh Allen, who's again he's in that Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, that category. He's not Tom Brady yet because we know what Tom's done, but yeah, that would be. He put Allen in a special place if he's able to get over that hump.
I mean, Jim Kelly was obviously a great quarterback, which is also in the day where he had Dan Marino on that conference that beat out, Miami a lot. But then you look on the other side, you had some guy named Joe Montana, and then another guy named Steve Young in that era. You had Troy Aikman. I mean, there was Randall Cunningham. You had a lot of good guys. I don't remember every team they played in that 4-game stretch, but of Super Bowls at least. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about some Hall of Fame guys there when you start talking about all the quarterbacks in that era where the Bills got to 4 straight Super Bowls. That's an accomplishment in and of itself right there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pointer is saying that he's got, let's see, the Jags over the Chargers this week, and that's what he's putting on the Bet Saracen app, Tommy. I know that, again, parlays galore. This is a weekend where buddies of mine, they'll bet on every single game, put like $5 or $10 to win like $600, and then they get to the last game and the other team wins by like a point or something more than over. They love doing that. I guess it seems like based on
betting kind of like betting a superfecta or something in horse racing.
Yeah.
Little dime superfecta. You don't have much, but it can pay a lot. So, all right, it's been a Fast Break Friday. Always brought to you by QC Kinetics, the name that you should know that if you've got joint pain, these are the people that can make you feel better. Get moving again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. You got shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain. If the arthritis pain is more than you can deal with and the doctor only says, here's some more pain pills, then it's time to call QC Kinetics. It's the future of joint pain management. Appointments are available as soon as next week. 479-999-1234. That's 999-1234. Make 23 the year you say goodbye to joint pain with our friends at QC Kinetics.
It's been a good Fast Break Friday. Chuck is heading to Nashville later on today. Again, you can start listening to him at 12 o'clock tomorrow here on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. The latest edition of the Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast. In addition to that, Chuck and Z will pop on at 12:30 in preparation for the game, tipping off at 1. Derek and I will have Hog Reaction following the game right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Tommy, loaded weekend of sports. We mentioned the NFL playoffs, Hogs, and basketball. I'm going to be stuck in front of the TV all week, and I'm not going to do a doggone thing.
What is it? Two NFL games tomorrow, 3 Sunday, 1 Monday, right?
That's correct, yes.
2-3-1, so you can kind of plan accordingly.
Setup is nice. Not too bad. Well, man, enjoy the Gaston's weekend. I guess you're going to be fishing rather than watching. You'll actually have something to do.
I mean, I'm going to fish for the next few hours. It's cold here at Gaston, so I'm going to bundle up and get out there and see if I can get one of them big browns in a little bit.
Don't let Cliff push you in the river, man. Make sure he doesn't do that. All right, Tommy Kraft, Chuck Barrett, Christian Johnston, and Lang Whitman, I'm Ty Richardson. Everyone have a great Friday. We'll talk to you on Hog Reaction.
Miles RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone.